Amaya, I will start with you. Do you think that we should be boycotting Eurovision? Queers for Palestine want us to?
I do. I think, considering Eurovision's historical stance on political songs, and, for example, in 2021, Belarus were disqualified for having a song that was politically motivated. They then put forward another song which wasn't politically motivated, and they were still disqualified. Whereas Israel have put forward two songs that were both disqualified, and they've still been allowed to use the same song that was originally disqualified with slightly different lyrics, which reference the October 7th attacks. So if we're going purely on Eurovision rules,
right,
they should not be allowed to.
So can I just ask for a bit of clarity on that, just purely because I suspect that you might know a little bit more about this than I do. So you're saying that Israel have put forward a song that references the October 7th attacks, is that right?
They put forward two songs, two were disqualified. Then one of the songs, which was called October Rain, and it is now called Hurricane, I believe, they changed a couple of words from the chorus, but it still references the October 7th attacks. And that is just basic Eurovision rules. That's not even going into the fact that they're currently ethnically cleansing a whole state of people.
And there we go. Right. OK.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's park that there for a second, Amaya. So, Alex, I will throw it over to you. It's our track, for what it's worth, is apparently called Dizzy. I don't know if that contains any particular political messages. Should we be boycotting the Eurovision Song Contest because Queers for Palestine have asked us to do so?
No, I mean, absolutely not. It's ridiculous. First of all, let's remember that Eurovision is a democracy. At the end of the day, people get to vote, and if they don't like Israel's song, then surely it won't get many votes. In fact, I hope they do, because they suffered a massive terrorist attack on their country, which is why this war started in the first place. But let's just take a look at the organisation that's calling for this boycott, Queers for Palestine. I mean, it might as well be called Chickens for KFC, quite frankly, because those people are utterly delusional. There's not a single person in Palestine, or many people in Palestine, that would welcome anyone from the LGBT community. In fact, it's against the law. You'd be put in prison. And we've seen many people beheaded and killed on the streets of Palestine for far less when it comes to LGBT rights. So for the fact that the queer community or the gay community, whatever you choose to call yourselves, are now defending a state that is abhorrently against them is absolutely baffling.
Well, that's arguably the key point. Amaya, can I ask you a question on that then? Can I ask you a question on that? I mean this with absolute respect, right? Which is that if you did go to Gaza, you might be tortured and killed.
So there's a lot of misinformation in what you just said. If you were to go to Gaza, the law in Gaza regarding homosexuality is actually an antiquated law that has been held on from the British rule. So it was a British mandate, actually. It was not a Gazan citizen. That is not
you do know, though, Amaya, that Hamas
in the
don't,
West Bank, there are no
don't
laws
like
in the
gay
West
people,
Bank
right?
against homosexuality. And the misinformation that has been... Israel have been blackmailing queer Palestinians into becoming collaborators.
Right.
Now, you'll find that is the reason why there is so much taboo around being queer in Palestine now. Yes, culturally speaking, homosexuality is not a part of the culture, but nowadays, the problem is that Israel have weaponized that.
Right.
No, they haven't. Look, the people of Gaza have weaponized
yes, they have.
it. There was a man killed just in 2022. His body was found by state authorities there, and he was killed most likely due to his sexuality. The reality is that there is not a...
He was not killed because he was a homosexual. He was killed because the Shin Bet had a videotape of him having sex with a man, and they blackmailed him into collaborating with them. And when the Palestinian resistance found out, they beheaded him as a traitor, and it had nothing to do with him being homosexual.
I would argue, Amaya, though, I mean, regardless of why they beheaded him, they beheaded a man, right? And maybe they might be worse than the Israelis?
The Israelis have been committing atrocities since 1948. Okay. So if you cage a whole state of people and you don't allow them to have basic human rights or food or access to healthcare, and you increase that as the years go on, you cannot.
That's your view. Fine. I get what you're saying. I imagine Alex might disagree with that, and certainly when it comes to the gay rights thing, I mean, Israel is seen as a bastion of gay rights in the Middle East. Alex,
Israel is the only. Hang on, Amaya, let me talk. Israel is the only state in the Middle East that has liberal LGBT laws. Let's just get the facts straight. There, nobody's buying that if an LGBT person walked into Gaza, that they wouldn't be attacked, shot or killed. No one's buying that. It doesn't matter how much propaganda the Queers of Palestine put out and how much spin they do. No one's buying that if you walked in as an LGBT, a trans person walked into, or a drag queen walked into Gaza, you wouldn't last 5 minutes, quite frankly. So let's just be clear about that. If you go to Israel, you are protected. There are even police there to protect LGBT parts of the city from any extremists whatsoever. So there's a huge difference in the culture, in the norms, in the religious values that protect the people of those two different states as well. And let's just be honest, Israel is the only place, and you can just look at the facts. Israel is the only place in the Middle East that has good LGBT laws. It's the only place that you'd be able to go and be safe.
According to Western propaganda.
No, it's not. It's just a fact. It's just an absolute fact on their laws.
Not a fact.
It is a fact. Do some research.
Not a fact.
Go and read the laws of every state in the Middle East and tell me which one is the only one that has positive and attributing LGBT rights. And none of the others do. In fact, they suppress LGBT people. So the fact that you guys are calling to support a state that is being, oppressing LGBT people and murdering them for so long is absolutely insane.
All right, we'll let Amaya come back to that. And could I also just ask you, Amaya, as well? I think you might have frozen actually on us there. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll get it back. Yeah, I mean, look, hey, it's a debate. Alex, I'll just bring you back into it, I suppose, then why not? Look, Alex, I suppose an argument would be, right, which is that if there is such a strong strength of feeling amongst people at the moment that the likes of Amaya have, then maybe Ollie Alexander, if he wants to preserve his career and his reputation as, quotes unquote, a queer icon, as Owen Jones calls him, then actually he's in a tremendously difficult position now, isn't it? I mean, should we even be allowing Israel in Eurovision? I mean, it's not in Europe.
I mean, look, I'm not a huge fan of Eurovision myself, Patrick, but, I have indulged in it a couple of times. It's great fun. The fact that it gets politicised almost every year is nothing new to anyone that watches it. Let's not forget that the UK's received 0 points after Brexit, 0 points after the wars. Despite none of those songs have any political messaging in them whatsoever. So maybe it's the viewers who are political people, quite frankly.
Look, Alex, thank you for stepping into this. I believe that we've got Amaya. Great stuff. Right, Amaya is back now. Look, final word to you, Amaya, and thank you very much for coming on and taking part in this debate. What would your message to Ollie Alexander be if he goes ahead with his performance? Okay, is that him? Is he dead to the queer community? Is he?
Look, I can't speak for the whole queer community. I'm just a drag queen. I would just say to think it through very carefully, because the statement that Ollie put out, I think is frankly quite insulting and doesn't acknowledge the gravity of the situation. Boycotts have been working all over the world. Everyone has seen it, with whether it's McDonald's or large corporations. This boycott would be quite a statement, and it's not, it's more than just about fun songs, and it's people's lives.
Okay, all right. Look, both of you, thank you yet again. We asked for a head-to-head. We certainly got a head-to-head, so great stuff. All right. Look, who do you agree with? Okay, Queers of Palestine want the UK to boycott Eurovision. Should we? Jen on X says we shouldn't boycott Eurovision, but we should leave it. It's a massive waste of money, and despite claiming to be apolitical, it's more political than a general election. Anthea says they can boycott it all they want. I won't be. It's one of the highlights of my year. Pam says yes, but not because they want us to, because it's rubbish and fixed. Right, OK. Look, your verdict is in. a very specific 86.3% of you say no, we should not boycott Eurovision because Queers for Palestine want us to. 13.7% of you say that we should.